It's the Tell Me Something Good podcast.
Because we believe that there is still good in the world.
Hi, I'm Lori Gray.
And I'm Rob Joe. We talk about the good things happening at Christ United Methodist Church here in Greensboro, North Carolina.
And we have a little fun, too.
We're so glad you're here.
Rojo, you ready?
Yeah, let's get this show on the road.
Or podcast.
Yes, let's get this podcast on the road. Well, good morning, listeners. We are excited that you're here with us. And last week, Lori and I decided that we would bring to you a special guest. But this week, due to unfortunate events, we do not have Lori with us. She's not feeling well, but we do have a special guest and a new co-host for the week. So welcome back, Pastor Nikki.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in and hanging out with us for a little bit. So as Lori would ask me to start off, let me ask you then, what's something good that's been going on at Christ Church this past week?
We got this past Sunday, we got to kick off our new sermon series, What's in Your Backpack, as we're in this back to school season. And I got to preach the first sermon in that, talking about scissors. So that was fun. Always fun to start a new series. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So for those of you who might not have been in worship or weren't able to watch yet, would you give us a quick little update on, or not update, but a little recap of what your sermon was talking about?
Yeah, so just for a little bit of background for the series, we are using some different school supplies that you would commonly find in students' backpacks who are headed to school, and seeing what those school supplies can tell us about our lives of faith. And so for this first week, I used scissors.
Nice.
I talked about how our son Asher's starting kindergarten next week, and one of the things that's on their kindergarten readiness list sheet is to be able to hold scissors safely and cut straight lines. And so thinking about how we expect children to learn how to use scissors well, that there's also a sense in which we need to know how to use scissors in our lives of faith, that we need to sometimes cut things out or edit things out of our lives so that the other things in our lives have room to grow and flourish, that sometimes removing things makes our lives more healthy, more beautiful, more fruitful and faithful. So
Awesome. Well, I knew this, of course, going into it because you and I get to work alongside each other in preparation for sermons, but I think that everybody really loved your interactive part of the sermon, and so if you were with us or saw online, you would have seen where Pastor Nikki had a folded sheet of paper, a pair of scissors, and she started talking about, what scissors could do and how they're destructive in some ways. Tell me if I'm ever off course. But the idea was that when she was making cuts, it looked destructive, it looked kind of harmful, but then at the very end, she showed us that she was making a paper snowflake, and I loved that.
yeah, that was fun. I've never cut a snowflake out while I was preaching before, and it was much more challenging than I thought it was going to be. I had a number of practice snowflakes on Saturday, but that was fun to do and a good example. And just for the record, I did not have my cuts marked ahead of time.
Yes.
Some people thought perhaps I did, but
You were just on the fly, and I appreciated the conversation you were having with us, as you were clipping the paper, because it helped me to kind of focus in on what you were doing, but then be mindful of why this was a part of your sermon. So, well done. I really appreciated it.
Thank
you. Let's see. So I'll just quickly share something good from this week. We, as y'all are aware, just had our third and final Summer Welcome Wednesday, and it was very fun. We had a great cookout thanks to our team in the kitchen, and one of our, I guess really a team of people, but specifically one of our members, Cameron, she had this kind of, what would you call it, like a car wash.
like a big wheel bike car wash,
set up for us in the front parking lot, and so there were water guns, there was a tent with a sprinkler inside almost.
like a sprinkler coming down so that when the kids rode under the tent, the water fell on them.
It was really cool, and there were also cones set up kind of as an obstacle course, so I was out there for a little bit, but I had my new and kind of expensive camera that we just bought, so I decided to take myself inside and kind of avoid being disappointed by a wet camera.
That's probably
So did
smart.
y'all have fun?
We did, yeah. It was a lot of fun. I managed to not get squirted with any water guns, but I think lots of kids had a lot of fun.
Yeah. And Pastor Garrett looked like he had had an accident in his pants when he walked away. And his nice leather shoes got wet. I was really upset for his shoes, but, it is what it is. So, let's see. Some things that are coming up this, maybe not this week, but just coming up in general that we want to make sure that you're reminded of. We are always interested in you being a part of our summer choir, and that's for our 11 a.m. traditional service. If you're interested in being a part of that, you can join us. You can join Amberly Johnston and David Lindley in the choir room at 10:15. There, you will just you will rehearse and review the song for that day. There's no robes, so you just come as you are. We have our one service coming up, so if you haven't heard about it yet, this is our beloved combined worship service. And so we will meet not at 9, not at 11, we'll meet at 10 in the sanctuary. And afterwards, you are encouraged and welcome to join us with your chair, your picnic blanket, out on the front lawn for a nice cookout. And we have Kona Ice.
Kona Ice.
So that'll be fun and exciting. And then the other exciting thing about our one service that is somewhat new in our kind of marketing communications about this is that we have our new playground being installed.
Yeah,
Have you seen it?
Yeah, it looks amazing. I'm excited to play on it.
I know. I'm like, so
hope that
when
I'm
are the
allowed.
staff going to get to christen the playground?
Yeah, we should maybe do that just to make sure it's safe for
Yes.
the kids.
Embracing all people with the balanced love of God. Making sure that the children are safe. That's
right.
us embracing them with God's love,
That's
right?
what we're all about. Yeah.
So, sidebar, the summer that I started working here, but before I was on staff, when Pastor Morris, sidebar. So for those of you listening, Pastor Morris is on vacation for the next week or so. And so, as they say, when the cat is away, the mice will play. So here we are playing. But okay, back to the sidebar. Before I started working here, when Pastor Morris was on vacation, the church had posted on social media a picture of the staff like on the playground being funny and saying, "Oh, Pastor Morris is on vacation. Like, look what we're doing." So that's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, ooh, we need a redo with all the new staff that have joined in the past
So
2
fun.
years.
Yeah. That'd be a lot of
So
fun.
we'll have to find a piece of equipment and take a picture with it. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. The playground will be open on September the 8th, and that is starting at 12:30. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think the playground blessing consecration starts at 12:30 back by the playground, obviously. Yeah.
And so if you're joining us for that, well, of course, we would love for you to join us for worship that morning, but if you're only able to make it in the afternoon, we have talked with Kona Ice, and they are going to be back in the playground area. And that Kona Ice will be for sale, and you can come and, again, help us kind of break in our new equipment and, kind of celebrate all the things that we're celebrating that day. Anything specific that you want to bring up or mention that you have coming up?
Don't forget about our back to school blessing in worship this week. Did you already say that?
No. That's a great one.
So in worship at both our 9 and 11 a.m. services this week, we'll be doing a back to school blessing. So we'll be blessing our students, our educators, anyone who's starting a new school year in any capacity, as well as their school bags. So we would invite you to bring your backpack or your school bag or whatever you have and receive a blessing over it and over you as we head into this new school year.
So when you were growing up, did y'all do this at your home church or the church you were attending at the time?
No, I think the first time I heard of this was at some point when I was a pastor. We started doing it, yeah.
I think, now I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but I think at my home church, whether it was like when I was a kid or a teenager, but like at some point this was kind of introduced, and I just remember it being really special, and like, I didn't necessarily like want to be standing in front of the whole church, but like I just thought it was so cool to go up and like get a little keychain or like whatever they were giving out that year. And so just a nice little reminder that, that your faith community cares about you and is praying for you is like, whether you understand it as a kid or not, like fully, like it's just meaningful, all these years later. So
Yeah, for sure.
cool. Well, in addition to September the 8th being a big Sunday for us, September 15th will also be a big Sunday. We are having our fall kickoff, and so we are, excuse me, inviting you to come that Sunday with the specific intent of, quote, finding your hive. So we will be kicking off our next worship series that Sunday. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that worship series?
So following our backpack series starting on September 15th, like Robert said, we'll be doing a series on the Beatitudes for several weeks through September and October, looking a little bit more closely at those sayings of Jesus that, many of us have probably heard a lot of times, but we'll be digging into each of them a little bit deeper. Blessed are the meek, blessed are those who hunger. All of those Beatitudes, and hearing more about them and how they fit into our lives today.
I'm really excited about this series. I mean, I think all the things that I don't want to say produce, but all the things that we plan and kind of prayerfully consider for worship series. But I think of all the things that we have done, I think this is really interesting because I don't think I've ever heard like a whole series on the Beatitudes. I've heard sermons about the Beatitudes, and they kind of, the messages have touched on all of the Beatitudes all in one, but it's hard, I think, because there's so much content to really dive into it in a hopefully only 20-minute sermon. So I'm very excited that y'all as the pastoral team have chosen to kind of allow us, Christ Church, to learn more about what the Gospels say and what Jesus is saying through those Beatitudes. So
I'm
it's
excited.
gonna be great.
I'm excited about that too.
So the 15th, we not only kick off for the fall, our discipleship team strives to support various groups of people in meeting individual needs while they're on their faith journey. And so what better time to kick off this new worship series in conjunction with this new worship series. Did I say that twice?
You did. That's okay.
The new worship series.
Robert's really excited about the new worship series.
Can you tell?
We're starting a new worship series, by the way. Did you hear?
Should I underline that? Point being that with the B attitudes, we're kind of playing off that theme of having some B's, finding your hive, like honey, I'm home at CUMC. All these cutesy little things that help point us back to the reason why we're here. So that will be a great Sunday. Let me stop rambling about that. All right. So I guess kind of in closing, do you want to share something good that's going on in your personal life?
Sure. So as I said and related to my sermon, our son Asher starts kindergarten next Monday. And so both my husband and I are taking some time this week to just do one-on-one things with him, some special stuff that, often we don't have time for.
Sure.
This week in preparation for him starting kindergarten. So that is just something special happening in my life right now, getting to spend some of that time with him and do some things together.
That's cool.
So.
Oh, one of our church kids. I call them our church kids because, a handful of our coworkers have kids around the same age. So it's like, two of our church kids are going off to kindergarten this year, so makes me sad. I'm not even their parent. Well, that's really sweet, and I know that that'll be really meaningful to him as well.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So do you have any specific plans? I'm really nosy.
Well, let's see. I think we may do a children's museum on Thursday.
Okay.
He and Andrew were going for a hike this morning with the dog.
Oh, nice.
And Asher is strangely obsessed with roads in Greensboro.
Okay.
And he has been wanting to drive the whole loop for quite some time now, like all the way around.
I did not know this about him.
Yes, so I think that he and Andrew might drive the whole loop one day this week.
Okay.
That's going to be a high point for
That's
him.
so fun.
The other day, he had been wanting to drive all the way from one end of Florida Street to the other, and they did achieve that goal a couple days ago.
I
I
love Asher so much.
That's what all of our life goals are, right?
That's so fun. So question. So where does the loop begin? Like, I mean, I know where the loop is, but I'm trying to remember like where it really starts and stops-ish.
Well, it's a loop. It's a circle.
Okay. Well, this is why I'm not in education or mathematics
Listen, I'm not really very good with. Asher knows more about the roads in Greensboro.
I
than
should probably
me,
just consult
you
Asher
should just talk to him
directly.
probably.
Okay.
But it's that series of interstates that circle
Yes.
Greensboro, so you can get on it wherever and
Because when I was in high school driving, I went to school in High Point, and my parents live in Greensboro, so I would take this loop from the loosely the Bryan Boulevard area to Wendover to kind of cut off some time. And so for a long time, and like at least in my world, like the loop was just like a couple exits.
Right.
But then, you know, as you start to commute different places,
Like if you look at a map,
oh, dear listener, we're looking at a map. You can't see it. Oh,
you see
it's literally a loop.
it's actually a circle.
Y'all, this is blowing my mind a little bit. Okay. Pastor Nikki's not only a spiritual leader, she's also an informant for the loop. Oh, wow. Okay. Just Google and you'll see it. Your mind might be just blown to pieces like mine is.
Probably not. They probably know that.
They probably know that. Okay. My mind is full of all kinds of other useless information. So one time I had the pleasure of bringing Asher to school because Asher last year was at our in-house childhood enrichment center. And so I know where Pastor Nikki and her family live. And so I, you know, scooted over there that morning. And I don't know if I'm the only one, maybe you're the same way, but like I know how to get from point A to point B in Greensboro, but I don't necessarily know the fastest way because it's not something that I normally travel. So I could get from your house to work, but what's the best way? I don't know.
But don't worry.
But don't worry. That's right. So, you know, we get Asher all buckled in, and we're like pulling out the driveway. He's like, do you want to know how to get to the office? I'm like, sure, this is great. Because I was already in my mind thinking, should I go this way? This way? Maybe I should go that way. The whole ride, I mean, you know this, it's your child. The whole ride to the office. I mean, we were, you know, 2 streets away from the entrance to the church. So, like, I'm very aware of where we are. But he gave me 3 options of how to get into the parking lot, which I actually really appreciated because, again, I thought I knew best. But I could turn down Kirby. I could turn down Dogwood. Oh, actually, there was 4, I think.
Madison was probably one of them.
Oh.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe Madison. And then there was also, like, you could turn directly into the main driveway. You could go down to Christchurch Road. I mean, the guy has all kinds of knowledge of roads.
He knows his maps, yeah.
He might just have a spiritual experience or Andrew takes him on the loop. Who knows?
We'll see.
You might need to put a little GoPro on him so we can all have this experience together.
Okay.
A little body cam. Well, okay. Thanks for sharing your one something good and letting me make it weird. So
what's your something good, Robert?
Well, I am super excited because so Tuesdays, what we affectionately call in the office is grandma lunch. So my grandparents and I years and years ago started just doing a weekly lunch at a local restaurant. And so, you know, years have gone by and jobs have changed and people have moved on and whatnot, but we have still kept this tradition of going to lunch together. And so I love it very much. And tomorrow's a very special, quote, grandma lunch because it's my grandma's not 21st birthday.
Well, fun.
I don't know if she would want me disclosing her age, but she looks like she's not her age, and she is wonderful. Yeah. So we're going to get together and do lunch tomorrow and celebrate her. I bought her some very fun, like a very fun gift from Just Be downtown.
Oh, fun.
In Greensboro. I've kind of had my eye on it for a couple, like, gift-giving cycles, you know, Christmas, birthday, Mother's Day sort of stuff. But so I went down there on our day off last week and bought her this little gift.
Yeah,
and I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome.
So
well, happy birthday to your grandma.
Yes, happy birthday, Mammy. We love you.
We love you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for taking some time out of your week to be with us. If you will send well wishes and prayers to Lori for a speedy recovery, we would appreciate that as well. But if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to us at info@christgreensboro.org, or you can visit us at our website, which is christgreensboro.org. But until next time, we hope you have a great week and know that you are loved.
Have a great week.
Bye, y'all.